the November 2nd, Election Day, All Souls Day. See the beautiful foliage that there is on this road. It's really cool. Imagine if it was sunny, it would really be nice. Not too far from there. Gonna hang around the Bear Mountain region today, get some CSX Metro North trains, different places. Some fall color. Yeah, the color's really good up here. Approaching the Stony Point exit. Beautiful. Panorama of Hessian Lake. In the distance, I can hear a cab car from a Metro North train going south to New York. I think they have S2M type horns. Bear Mountain Park is a rather expansive park. It's got a high mount where you can get some great overlooks of the railroads around here. I'm not sure if I'm going to visit that today, but get as much as I can with the autumn leaves. Well, at 10:35 a.m. on this election day, November 2nd, I'm at Iona Island. I haven't been here in at least 7 years. I've been hanging around at Manitou Park to the north mostly, but thought I'd come here for a little while. Looking at signal 410, 41 miles north of, I guess that's Weehawken they measure it from. There's milepost 41 in front of it. We're just south of CP 43, Fort Montgomery siding south end. We're alongside CSX's River Line, looking north towards Bear Mountain, and north on the CSX River Line towards Fort Montgomery. Hang around here for about an hour or so. The road that comes down here from Route 9W is prone to flooding, and the water level looked pretty high as I was driving down here. You know, it's influenced, it has tidal influence. Hopefully I won't get stuck here, because sometimes the road is closed due to flooding. Yeah, this is a long-time bird sanctuary and rail fan gathering point, but since Manitou Park opened about 7 years ago, that's become more popular. But a lot of fans still hang around here due to the accessible parking and ample parking. and the beautiful scenery. Northbound empty auto rack train by at 11:43 a.m. and an ES44 AC and heavy and an ES44 AC trailing. Caught me by surprise. My scanner battery died and I have no internet signal here. We move further north to what I consider the better location between Iona Island and this place, Mindock Park in Fort Montgomery, just north of the Fort Montgomery Tunnel. And you're looking north around the curve is CP43. Color here looks really good. And across the river is Amtrak 233 from New York to Albany, Rensselaer. As that K5LA horn echoes through the river valley. It's blowing from Manitou Crossing. Looking south at Fort Montgomery Tunnel, that northbound auto rack train we saw at Iona Island was Q567. Runs from Oak Island, New Jersey to Walbridge, Ohio. 12:31, we have a Metro North from Poughkeepsie to Grand Central. Got a New Haven Heritage unit shoving. Soon he'll be arriving at Peekskill.
You know, if you don't want to drive.
Where the heck is he going?
West Point.
Where did he come from? 12:35, this is Amtrak 280 from Niagara Falls, New York to Penn Station, New York. Should have 290 right behind him, the Ethan Allen Express from Rutland, Vermont to New York. It's about to pass under the Bear Mountain Bridge. Got a southbound manifest approaching at 12:42. what that symbol was, but it had two AC 4400 CWs, or CW44ACs, as CSX likes to call them. CSX is primarily a GE railroad, although a K train went by earlier today with two SD40-2s. Darn it, I missed it. Time is 1:10. We got CSX Train Q410 coming up en route from Waycross, Georgia. Rice Yard, that's a huge yard, I've been there, to Selkirk, another huge yard. And the gates are going down. You're going to see Q410 emerge from the tunnel on the left. This is one of the longer trains that they run on the River Line. Yep, a precision scheduled railroading train if there ever was one. Three types of motor power on them. You had an ES44AH heavy, which is really an ES44AC that's heavily ballasted, an AC4400CW, and a 700 class ES44AC as the DPU. And approaching northbound at 205 is Q434, en route from Oak Island Yard to Selkirk, the counterpart to Q433. His horn is nice, sounds sort of like a Canadian M3H horn. He's about ready to come out of the tunnel. He's got a red over yellow over red on the approach to CP43. You can hear Metro North on the other side going to Poughkeepsie. I expected a much longer train considering all the motive power he had on him. He had an ES44AC, an AC4400CW, and an ET44AC. Southbound 225, looks like 158. PSR train. I would think that might be I-158 out of the North Baltimore Intermodal Transfer Facility in Ohio to South Kearney. He was loaded with Mediterranean Shipping Corps containers, and he usually has some auto racks in the rear. Coming into view is Amtrak 284 from Niagara Falls, New York to New York City. And 253, we've got another CSX northbound approaching. This is milepost 43. We're just south of CP 43, the beginning of the siding that goes up to CP 45. Judging by the amount of empty lumber cars he had on him, that might have been Q410 out of Rocky Mount for Selkirk. Had a lot of chemical traffic on it too, as well as trash containers. Powered by more GEs. I'll tell you, I call them GE junk, but CSX embraces GE junk. You have to look awfully hard to find a non-GE on a road train, although there are a few trains, but I haven't seen any today. A yellow signal on a northbound, indicating another northbound will be following. I'm relying on information I'm getting from another fan at another location, trying to extrapolate these trains. I may have got them incorrect. There was like a northbound X404 out of Oak Island to Selkirk. There's a Q434. Well, actually, I think X404 is out of Greenwich Yard in Philadelphia. That might have been him that just went by. And there's an I-157 which comes out of Greenwich Yard and goes out to North Baltimore. That may be what the signal is heralding. Well, after witnessing a multitude of rather slow CSX freights, CSX put on a decent show this afternoon, albeit with no foreign power and all GE lash-ups. Ay, ay, ay. So we crossed the river, and now we're going to observe fast passenger action at the Manitou Station. This is a station for hikers only. It's been around a while. It actually closed in 1973 during Penn Central's era, and it was reopened again in 1983. But today, the only trains that stop here are a couple of weekend trains in each direction for hikers. The Appalachian Trail is right near here. Looking south, you can see a bit of the Bear Mountain Bridge structure in the background. You can also see an interlocking, CP 46. There used to be third rail rake-off blocks here, whose purpose was to knock off misaligned third rail shoes on the locomotives in order to avoid any damage to the third rail further down to Croton Harmon. But they removed them. 323, the gates are going down. Got a northbound. This is Amtrak 291, the Ethan Allen Express, from Penn Station, New York to Rutland, Vermont. Yes, Vermont services are back again. Have been since mid-July. Ah, here comes Metro North 870 from Poughkeepsie to Grand Central. It's got one of those cab car horns that sound a bit better than Long Island Railroad C3s. I think I lost a filling. And we're alongside the Hudson River, just on the other side of the Manitou Station, looking upstream, up towards Poughkeepsie and Albany. West Point is not too far away. That's dead center. You can see the buildings just barely in the background. Not a bad day. Cloudy, little breaks of sun. Seasonable temperatures. There's the river line over there. I noticed Mindock Park looked a little sloppy. There's like a lot of debris alongside the shoreline. We have had 2 nor'easters go through here last week. That may have caused some flooding, which caused the debris to wash up. Hopefully this week will be much more uneventful. Somebody's got an extremely private piece of real estate. You can see that lone house on the hill there. You'll note those dwarf signal-like structures here. The one on the right, governing track 2, has a flashing green. That tells the engineer to proceed according to cab signal indication. There are no wayside signals on Metro North. And approaching at 4:02 is northbound train 837 from Grand Central Terminal to Poughkeepsie. Metro North train. And soon he'll be slowing down to stop at Garrison. Got a northbound CSX coming at 4:05. Visibility has been hampered a bit here. This property owner has built a high seawall here. line you're looking at is I-157. Runs out of South Kearney to North Baltimore's Intermodal Terminal. That's in western Ohio. And with that, we'll leave the River Line today and head down to downtown Peekskill, New York, the city of Peekskill, to catch some Metro North and Amtrak action. CSX put on a great show today. We're at downtown Peekskill. You're looking at the old Peekskill Depot, built in 1874 by the New York and Hudson River Railroad. Used to have a restaurant inside, but it's currently unoccupied. Peekskill is a city in New York State, located in Westchester County. It's got a population of about 20,000 plus. The waterfront here in Peekskill is very picturesque. Got a nice riverfront park here with great views of the Hudson River. And you can see approaching trains from the north, miles away. Here comes a train from Poughkeepsie now. Train 874 from Poughkeepsie to Grand Central. Hear a lot of the crackle of General Electric P32 AC DMs here between both Metro North and Amtrak. This is a noteworthy Peekskill landmark, the Standard House. It's a wine cellar today. It was built in 1855, right before the Civil War. .447, this should be Amtrak 49, the Lakeshore Limited from New York to Chicago. We're just on the edge of Peekskill Landing. Heading by Roahook right now. He's got a long way to go, heading for Chicago. It's been about 20 years since I was here, but this is all new out this way. Superb views of the river. About to pass by here at the park is train 841 to Poughkeepsie. Time is 4:55 p.m. few minutes we'll be passing through a couple of tunnels, one of which goes under the Bear Mountain Bridge underneath Anthony's Nose. At 5:09, running a little late, is Metro North Train 876 from Poughkeepsie to Grand Central. And 5:20, gates are going down for Metro North 843, Grand Central to Poughkeepsie. Noisy buggers. And we got a New Haven Heritage unit on this. About to arrive Peekskill from Poughkeepsie at 5:28. Train 878, Poughkeepsie to Grand Central. Cab car first, of course, going into the city. Metro North has among the least melodious cab car horns of any commuter railroad east of the Mississippi River. SEPTA, MBTA, New Jersey Transit, Metra, VRE, put this to shame. The only thing stopping those horns from being at the bottom of the barrel as far as passenger railroads east of the Mississippi River are the Long Island Railroad C3 cab car horns. Standing on the Peekskill station platform of the Metro North Depot looking south, two-track main cutting right through the station. However, on the west side or the riverside, you see the remnants of some stub tracks. This used to be a terminal many years ago for commuter trains. In fact, prior to Metro North, quite a few trains terminated at Peekskill. They usually ran with RDCs for the most part, sometimes those SPV rail cars. It wasn't until 1983 when Metro North took over this line that the line became more streamlined and you had trains going all the way to Poughkeepsie before they terminated. Poughkeepsie was kind of a secondary player prior to Metro North. It was more of a long distance destination. 5:38, this should be Amtrak 237 from New York to Albany, Rensselaer. Some of those P-32s on Amtrak have beautiful sounding horns. And you can see Amtrak trailing off to the west. It's about to pass one of the most scenic parts of the Hudson River area. And at 5:43, approaching is another significant Amtrak train. Train 48, the Lakeshore Limited from Chicago to Penn Station, New York. He's in good shape. He passed by at 5:43. He's due into New York at 6:47. Beautiful evening. Yeah, it's almost 6 o'clock. Days are getting shorter and shorter. After this weekend, Eastern Standard Time begins. The dark days of winter. Well, here comes Metro North 847 at 5:51, bound for Poughkeepsie, of course. Now, why can't they put horns like that on the cab cars? At least New Jersey Transit standardizes between their locomotives and cab cars. You can see New York-bound trains coming for quite a distance here, along the horizon on the riverbank. Approaching now is train 880. It's 6:07 en route from Poughkeepsie to Grand Central. He'll be making some sweet music, sweet as apple cider with a teaspoonful of castor oil mixed in. Horns aren't terrible, but they could be improved upon. Now here comes a hot shot. This is 849 New York Poughkeepsie. He goes 125th Street to Beacon non-stop. Reminiscent of the old Erie-Lackawanna U-34CHs. They fill the sky with sound. Glimpse of the Peekskill Depot building, built in 1874. Yeah, it looks like they're fixing it up pretty nicely. This building, the design of this building is similar to the Amtrak station up the river at Hudson, New York. Has the arch windows, just like this. Comes 4849 departing. That was train 4849 from New York to Poughkeepsie, out at 6:15. Gonna stick around for Amtrak's 239 from New York to Albany and 244 from Albany to New York. Well, here comes Amtrak 244 at 6:18. Albany Rensselaer to Penn Station. Make no bones about it, this is one busy passenger line. Tomorrow should be a beautiful day. I think this is Amtrak 237 at 6:30. We got 8:55 pulling out at 6:34, headed for Poughkeepsie. Still got a little bit of daylight fading behind the distant mountains. Here comes 882 from Poughkeepsie to Grand Central. Poughkeepsie to Grand Central. I tell you, listening to those cab car horns, they're sort of like the girlfriend that you can't stand, but you can't live without them either. Strange. Here comes 882 from Poughkeepsie to Grand Central. Train I'm going to get here is 6:45, Amtrak 239, New York to Albany, Rensselaer. Sounded a little foul, but the engineer put on a good show for me.